So the San Francisco 49ers are very banged up at the running back position. Christian McCaffrey out for the rest of the year with the PCL sprain. Jordan Mason on injured reserve like Christian McCaffrey with a high ankle sprain. So with that, will the Niners sign a running back? We're talking about that on today's show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Thanks for hanging out, and thank you to the Niner gang for supporting the program. Earlier today, we surpassed 151,000 subscribers. So if you want elite Niners content every single day, year-round, long-form talk shows, be sure to lock us in and hit that subscribe button. So those injuries to the running back spot for San Francisco, we talked about this on Monday's show. Christian McCaffrey, after falling on his knee during that Sunday night game against Buffalo, a game in which he looked awesome. The best game since he came back off that bilateral Achilles tendonitis, he suffered a PCL sprain. He's going to go on injured reserve. It's about a 6-week injury. There are 5 weeks remaining in the regular season, and the Niners are not making the playoffs. I called their season over after that Seattle loss, and now the Niners have lost 3 games in a row. I just don't think San Francisco is going to be able to turn it around. They have no heartbeat right now. And I just don't see how they're going to be able to get it together, come back from a 2-game deficit in the NFC West to make the big dance. The good news with McCaffrey, even though he's out for the year, no surgery on that PCL injury. It's pretty much the opposite function of the ACL. ACL's on the front of the knee, PCL on the back of the knee. And then also during that game against Buffalo, I hate teams who play on turf, by the way. I have to wonder if McCaffrey came down on that knee on a grass surface, is there as much of an impact? All NFL teams should be playing on grass. The NFL's a cash cow. Come on. Anyway, and ran. Jordan Mason, high ankle sprain. He too going on injured reserve, so he has to miss at least the next 4 games. And the Niners, with their roster, have no depth at the running back spot. McCaffrey gone, Mason gone. And so the starter becomes rookie Isaac Guerendo, who San Francisco traded up for in the 4th round of the NFL draft out of Louisville. And they only have 1 running back on the practice squad currently. That is the veteran Patrick Taylor, played last year with Green Bay, last couple of years with Green Bay. Got a few carries here and there this year on the road against Seattle, against the Dallas Cowboys. More of a special teams player. He is a taller back at 6'2", the tallest running back that Kyle Shanahan has had since he took over the Niners in 2017. And so the Niners are going to have to make a move at that running back spot. What we will see is a lot of carries for the rookie in Isaac Guerendo. He's flashed a couple of moments this year. He flashed in the preseason with that 90-plus yard kickoff return against the Las Vegas Raiders. He had a touchdown in the snow against Buffalo. Very creative play call from Kyle Shanahan where Brock Purdy was in the shotgun. He had Ricky Pearsall flanked to his left and Isaac Guerendo to his right. He faked the handoff to Pearsall, threw behind him to Isaac Guerendo, so technically a rushing touchdown. And you saw the speed from Guerendo to get the pylon in the snow to score a touchdown for San Francisco, the lone touchdown that they scored in that game. If you're not familiar with the player, my duty here on this program is to inform you. So let's ride. He's 24 years old, 6 feet, 221 pounds. So he has some weight and size to him. The Niners traded up for him, matriculating up the draft board to take him at 129 overall back in April. He started his college career at Wisconsin. He was there from 2019 to 2022. Given his speed, physical traits, and his size, he got some comparisons to Jonathan Taylor, who also played his college football with the Badgers. And then Guerendo transferred to Louisville in 2023. Throughout his entire college career, he only had 1 career start, and it came his final college game. The bowl game for Louisville last year. A lot of dual threat potential with this player, and he was a high school speedster, a high school sprinter, and a high school track star. State champion at the high school level. And when I was at the NFL Combine back in March in Indianapolis, I had an opportunity to look at some of the positional drills and watch those. I watched Isaac Guerendo, who measured in at great size, 6 feet 221, run a 4.33 40-yard dash. that is so quick for that weight and for that height. He also had a vertical leap of 41.5, a broad jump of more than 10 feet. The 10-yard, 20-yard splits, very good. The shuttle and the three-cone, excellent. And so in the pre-draft process, these math bomb relative athletic scores become very popular. We've referenced these on the show so much. It judges and ranks an athlete on a scale of 0 to 10 as far as raw athleticism. And so Isaac Guerendo earned a 9.98 RAS score on that scale of 0 to 10. One of the highest graded athletes and players, not just running backs, in the pre-draft process. And obviously the Niners like those athletic intangibles right there. Guerendo this year, he's made the most of a limited workload, and he's been a very explosive athlete and player. 42 carries, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 against Dallas, 1 against Buffalo, and an average yards per carry of 5.9. His 2 best games, Week 6 on the road against Seattle. He replaced the injured Jordan Mason. Christian McCaffrey was not back at that point. He had 10 carries for 99 yards, 9.9 yards per tote. He had that long run of 76 yards to ice the game against the Seahawks. And then Week 9 against Dallas, still no Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Mason a little bit banged up. 14 carries, 85 yards, 6.1 yards per carry, a long of 19, and his first career touchdown. And when I scout Guerendo, both now, when I scouted him in the pre-draft process, he is an outside zone runner. What Kyle Shanahan runs in the run game, outside zone. And he gets better, I've found, with more carries. Early in his career, with a limited workload, the game was moving a little bit too fast, and he wasn't patient in letting the block set up, identifying the hole. But when he sees that hole, he hits that hole. And he's able to be gone in a blink with that speed. But he also has the physicality to run over you and through you. Given that track background, he does have that long speed and that breakaway speed too. And he is just a physical freak with dual threat ability. Now, there are some concerns here. He had a lot of hamstring issues in college and I believe high school as well. That is something that could creep up on him. If he can escape those hamstring issues, he has a lot of potential in this league. My ruling on this, I'm very excited to watch Isaac Guerendo play. And a reason why I love covering the sport of football is evaluating players, scouting players, and seeing what and who they can become. When I was growing up and throughout my professional career, I take a lot of pride in my scouting eye. I believe I have a good eye for talent. And so when Guerendo has played so far this year, I've enjoyed watching him to see how he can develop, who he can become. And now that's what I'm going to be watching for the rest of the year, for him and for some of these other players. The Niners season is over. They have 5 games left to start evaluating some of the personnel, and they're not going to make the playoffs. So now it's all about player development, and you have to figure out as an organization who you want to be a part of this team moving forward. With that, which running back do you want the Niners to sign? That serves as a prelude, I think I'm using that word right, for what we're about to get to here on the show, taking a look at some free agents, but also some practice squad running backs who San Francisco could poach off of practice squads across the league and sign to their active roster. Our sponsor for today is Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports made easy. You pick 2 or more players, you choose more or less on their projected stats, and you can win up to 100 times your cash. It's very easy because you pick 2 or more players and you choose more or less on their projected stats for a season or for a game. And so it makes game day so much more fun. You can trust Prize Picks as well because more than 10 million other people and users do as well, and they've given out billions of dollars in awarded winnings, and we caught a dub on Monday Night Football. Myself and Chip, we liked Bo Nix more than 199.5 passing yards, and Jameis Winston more than a half passing touchdown. Jameis threw for 4. Him and Bo Nix were throwing deep shots all night, a true F it, somebody's down there mentality, and it was a very entertaining game in primetime, probably the best Monday night game that we have seen. So that's how the more or less game works. Head to prizepicks.com/CLNS, Download the app, create an account, and right now, when you use that link and that promo code, you play $5, you get $50 instantly. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. As for the top free agent running backs out there, we are now about to enter week 14. And so slim pickings here in the free agency market for every position because good players are on teams right now. And so the litter is a little bit thin, so to speak. Boston Scott, a smaller running back with a lot of experience throughout his career, a good number 3 on some good Eagles teams, but a shorter back who doesn't really fit the system for what Kyle Shanahan wants to do, nor does he fit the prototype for the type of player that he looks for in a running back. Matt Breida fits the system. He's played with the Niners. He was with San Francisco in the preseason. I thought he had some signs of life, and so San Francisco could elect to bring him back. Keyshawn Vaughn, he was with the Niners practice squad throughout portions of the regular season and was with this team prior to the year. He has a little bit of ability, a former third-round pick, I believe, of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Damian Harris had some good games with the New England Patriots throughout his career. He's in his late 20s. You have Jerick McKinnon, who the Niners are very familiar with as well. Played some good ball over the last couple of years with the Kansas City Chiefs. Latavius Murray, older player, very tall back, who's been productive throughout his career. Melvin Gordon, he has had a lot of success in this league, but fumbling issues, because of those fumbling issues, hasn't been able to get a job, and I think those lack of ball security issues would just drive Kyle Shanahan crazy. You have James Robinson, Isaiah Spiller with some pedigree, and then Royce Freeman. I want to pop up what friend of the show, Larry Krueger, said, and by the way, I hop on the Krug Show on YouTube every single Friday to talk Niners with this legendary Bay Area sports talk radio show host who has a weekly and daily show on KNBR, and Krug used to be a professional football scout, so he has a really good eye for talent. And he took to X in the aftermath of Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason going on IR, and he passed along this tweet. If the Niners need an additional running back, they ought to look at these practice squad RBs. Frank Gore Jr. looks an awful lot like his pops. Number 3 all-time in rushing yards, and I think he should be a Hall of Famer, and he'll go to Canton as a Niner if that happens. Blake Watson, quick and can catch. Jacob Kabodi, 225 pounds with scoot. Dante Miller, explosive speed. 4.35 40 guy. Jabari Small, tough little back. Velus Jones Jr., he was let go by the Chicago Bears. He's technically a wide receiver, but a super versatile player and runner who can also serve as a returner and a receiver. But he also has some ball security issues. Among all of those practice squad backs, what the Niners would have to do is sign that player to their active roster. Bring me Frank Gore Jr. It would be a fun story in what has been a season from hell for San Francisco. You can get an eye at a younger back who can be a part of your team for the future. The Niners elected to not sign him as a UDFA or even after the 53-man roster cut down. And I think that he can play a little bit. He played his college football at Southern Miss, and in 2022, 13 games played, 228 carries, nearly 1,400 yards, 6.1 yards per carry, 9 touchdowns. He can also catch it a little bit, 19 catches out of the backfield. His last year in college, 231 carries, 1,100 yards. Yards per carry did go down from 6.1 to 4.9, but still very good. Touchdowns up by 1, and his catches went up by 8. Now, why was he not drafted, given the pedigree of his dad being a legendary running back for San Francisco and several other teams? A little bit smaller, 5'7", but packs a punch at 201 pounds. Ran a 4.69 at his pro day. Did not run at the NFL Combine. 4.69 for a running back, it's pretty slow. But his game speed is a little bit faster. He's been overlooked. His dad, Frank Gore, was a little bit overlooked as well. When he was at Miami, he was kind of doubted. Now, the Niners made him a third-round pick. He turned into a great player. But Frank Gore Sr., a little bit of a diamond in the rough. Frank Gore Jr. could be a diamond in the rough as well. He's on a practice squad. He's not going to cost anything. You need to pick up a running back. This season has been so frustrating for the Niners and for their fans. How about a bright spot here in bringing in Frank Gore Jr.? Pick a running back for the Niners to sign. Be the general manager here. Drop me a name down below in the comments section. As you venture down there, hit that sub button, and we'll be back later on this Tuesday, December 3rd with another show.